Condiments as thermal paste. Research into alternative cooling. So, the other day I saw on the internet a list of different kinds of thermal pastes, and they included things like chocolate and mayonnaise. So I thought to myself, can this actually work? And I decided to test it. So first we're going to test the normal thermal paste that came originally with this machine and set up a baseline. And then we're going to test something else. So here by the power of editing, we have already done the baseline, and now we're doing the stress test using the pi calculation. And now the 10-minute test is done, and the numbers are in. The idle temperatures are 28 degrees and 34 degrees for both cores. And the stress test temperatures are 52 degrees and 53 degrees. And next up, we're going to change the thermal paste to mayonnaise, because that's a great idea. First, clean out the old paste. With high scientific precision. And then using a thermal paste applicator, we're going to apply the new thermal paste. And since we added too much, we're going to have to remove some of it. Remember to spread the thermal paste evenly before applying the heatsink. Now that the heatsink is secured, we'll begin testing. First, we're going to do the 10-minute run without any load. And by the power of editing, we have sped it up 30 times. And there we go, we have the baseline, and let's get load results. And now the load results are in, so the idle temperatures are 33 and 28 degrees, and stress results are 54 and 55 degrees Celsius. Next up, we have butter. Since butter is kind of not applicable, we'll heat it up and then spread it on the CPU. Remember, do take your CPUs out of the oven when they have turned golden brown. Otherwise they're raw. Heatsink has been secured and we can begin testing. And just like before, we are first going to do the baseline, the idle temperature, and then we're going to test the load. And here we can see the assistant research engineer checking out the build. And now, first we failed to do the load calculation correctly, so it only lasted for a couple of minutes and then failed. So now we're doing it again, this time for the actual 10 minutes. And the results are in. It's 27 and 31 degrees for the idle temperatures, and 51 and 53 for the load temperatures, which means that butter is actually more powerful in cooling than the original paste. Next up we have mustard. And again, baseline first, and then load test. And the baseline is in, which is 28 degrees and 34 degrees. And the load testing has begun. And the load results are in 51 and 53 degrees, which means that the normal thermal paste and mustard are just as good. If you don't have money, just use mustard. Thank you, and goodbye.